Good day, Dr. Bombita. I'm Verhel Piguing from BA Policy 3. I'm here to discuss the summary of 5 topics I've chosen under the subject of PSM4, and these are state versus nation, government, jurisdiction, and aspects of sovereignty. But first, let's define what a state is. State is a group of individuals more or less numerous, occupying a definite portion of territory, having a government of its own, and a great body of inhabitants rendering habitual obedience. Moreover, the state consists of 4 elements, including people, territory, sovereign, and government. Furthermore, without these elements, a certain region will never be called a state. Aside from this, we need to keep in mind that there's a difference between a state and a nation. A nation is ethnical because it is derived from distinctive of the ways of living built up by a group of people, whereas a state is political because there's jurisdiction under the presence of a government that governs its sovereignty. Notwithstanding that the state is having 4 elements. Having 4 elements, we need to keep in mind that there are some factors might affect state formation, and these are war, leadership, conjunctural, resources, colonialism, population, density. The state or the nation is governed by the government, which is the aggregate of institutions that rule the society. It is one who is responsible for implementing rules, which is the presence of laws that protect the rights of each individual, including sovereignty among regions. Moreover, the government was classified into three branches, and these are the executive department, which is one that makes the law. The legislative department is the one that carries out the law, and the judicial department is that one that evaluates the law. Furthermore, there are forms of government according to Aristotle. These are including monarchy, which is ruled by one, aristocracy, which is ruled by few, and polity, which is ruled by many. And according to the number of rulers, monarchy and aristocracy are absolute and limited, whereas democracy is direct and indirect. According to the relationship between the executive and legislative, they are presidential and parliamentary because the Congress and the President was responsible for the implementation of rules. The Congress is one who undergoes a certain debate or discussion for passing bill, and the President is the one who is responsible of the passing bill. And according to the powers exercised by central government, it is classified into unitary and federal in a unitary government. All the powers of government are vested in the central government, whereas in a federal government, the powers of government are divided between the center and the units. State jurisdiction is the capacity of state under international law to prescribe and enforce the rules of law. Also, it is derived from state sovereignty and constitutes its vital and central features. It is the authority of a state over persons, property, and events which are primarily within its territories, its land, its national airspace, and its internal and territorial water. This authority involves the power to prescribe the rules of law, to enforce the prescribed rules of law, and to adjudicate them. The state jurisdiction, 3 types: legislative jurisdiction, executive jurisdiction, and judicial jurisdiction. Legislative jurisdiction is the capacity of a state to prescribe rules of law, the power to legislate. Executive jurisdiction exists in civil procedure if one court has the power to adjudicate a case to the exclusion of all other courts. And the opposite situation is concurrent, then when a court may take jurisdiction over the case. Judicial jurisdiction are responsible for studying the laws. Furthermore, it's responsible for judging disputes among individuals for criminal law offenses. The aspects of sovereignty were classified into internal and external sovereignty. Internal sovereignty refers to the power of state to direct its domestic affairs as when it establishes its government, enacts law of government, laws of observance within its territory, or adopts economic policies, whereas external sovereignty signifies the freedom of the state to control its foreign affairs when it concludes treaties, makes a war of peace, and maintains diplomatic and commercial relations. That's all. Thank you po, Dr. Bombita.